Joining us now is Louis, and we're going to be talking about the Nassau Pops Symphony Orchestra. Did I do that right? So
Yes,
it's a lot of words in there.
It sure is.
I know. Do they shorten it sometimes and just say Nassau Pops?
Yes.
Yeah, Nassau Pops. So Louis, what got you involved with that group?
Well, I started the group with my partner back in 1984, Dawn Manuel. We had been doing a lot of community theater here in Nassau County for different organizations that put on different shows. I was hired as music director for many of them, and part of the job is to put a small orchestra together for the performances. We got to know a lot of local musicians, and they expressed a desire to have an orchestra that does it full time.
Okay.
So we called it the Nassau Pops because we saw how much enthusiasm was generated by the Boston Pops. Up in Boston, people come out and love that music. We perform music from Broadway, from television, and from film. And it's something that cuts across all demographics. Everybody likes that kind of music. So
they do. And how many years ago was that?
1984. So this is our 40th season of concerts.
Now, I remember going out with people that worked here in this building. Probably it was like 1998, 99, 2000, something like that. And our friend Gina Esposito decided we were going to do a lobster bake because her family lived close to where the performance was, right? Okay. And we all picnicked and we had the best time and we got to see the wonderful performance. And it's one of the happiest memories that I have because we all worked at the TV station together. And it was Gina's idea. She goes, you know what? She goes, let's go. And we're like, yeah, let's go. So we all went. The music is fun because you play like a lot of different varieties of songs, but they're upbeat, they're songs, tunes that people know a lot of times, but yet you have the whole entire symphony orchestra. What's the difference between the wind instruments and things like in order to have a full symphony orchestra, what needs to be included in that?
Well, when you say symphony orchestra, you generally have a string section. There's something called a concert band, which would be all wind instruments, no strings. A symphony orchestra uses wind instruments, woodwinds, brass, and a full string section, and that's the difference.
Peter and the Wolf.
Oh, sure.
So when I was little, I got to go to the Powell Symphony Hall, and that really, my music teacher, Mrs. Binger, was my introduction into...
Isn't that interesting that you remember your music teacher's name?
I do. I loved her so much. Really loved her. And that's how I first was introduced. You also are an educator, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Tell us about that, like the love of teaching.
Oh, gee. I taught elementary school, and a lot of people were surprised because they thought I also am on the faculty at Nassau Community College. So I had the privilege of working with children and also with, adult students. But working with 4th, 5th, and 6th graders was just a magnificent thing. People would say to me, "What do you do for a living?" And my answer would be, "I make musicians."
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, they started in the 4th grade, and there's nothing like the face of a child in the 4th grade when you hand them a real instrument. And they say, I can play. Yes, you can play that. We're going to learn how to do this together. And it was terrific. Just a wonderful experience.
I played drums in band. But it was like a bass drum, the one that's like upright bass drum. Right. So, and I'm really kind of tiny. So my mom said she could hear me go boom, 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 boom. She couldn't see me, but she could hear me. She said, "You did a beautiful job, Donna Marie." When someone goes out for this experience, what are they going to experience? Like, what's in store for them?
With the orchestra?
Yes.
Well, one of the things that it always amazes me is the family feeling that the people in the Nassau Pops have for each other. Many of us have been together for a long, long time. Some have been playing with me since 1984.
Wow.
One of our trumpet players, his name is Willie. I met him when he was 16, and he's still playing with me. And now he has adult children that are also musicians, and they play in the orchestra along with him. And we have husbands and wives, fathers and sons, fathers and daughters, mothers and sons, all different kinds of things. And I really make an effort to include that kind of a thing, because it really makes it a really cohesive group and a loving group. We just, when we have our first rehearsal of the season, people come in and there's lots of hugging and kissing and oh, I'm happy to see you. And it's just a marvelous musical experience as well.
What was your first instrument you ever learned to play?
When I was a little boy, my father taught me how to play the harmonica. But I come from a family of musicians. My father was a guitarist and a violinist. My mother was a pianist, and I have an older brother and sister that took piano lessons. So I was the baby. I had to follow and take piano lessons as well. When I went to high school, I picked up the clarinet, and I majored in that in college, in my music education degrees.
And who passed the baton to you? When did you learn, or who was it that said, okay, you're gonna hold it like this, this is how you do it? Like, are you just kind of freestyling up there? Is it like dance? I really want to know the answer to this question, Louis, because it seems to me like when I go...
Here it comes, I know the question.
You know the question? Okay, go ahead, I want to know.
That's all right. When you take music education in college, part of the degree requirements is a conducting class.
Okay.
You take a woodwind class, a brass class, a string class, all different classes, and you have to study conducting. And you learn the beat patterns, what your left hand does, what your right hand does. It's not freestyle.
It's not, you're not up there dancing. You're like, okay, I'll take a it's not like Bob Ross, like where Bob Ross goes, a little tree goes here, right? It's very methodical, correct? And it has to be on the tempo and...
Yes, there is a technique to it. And there are, baton exercises that you can do to help you develop the technique with your right hand. But it's scientific. Every conductor uses the same patterns, but in their own style.
Interesting.
Right.
Okay. So is it also something with your eyes and your facial gestures?
Oh, absolutely.
Because when I think it's so important.
Yeah.
Right?
Like when you want a crescendo to get louder,
right.
you maybe furrow your brow and make stronger movements.
Right.
And it's musical sign language is what it is.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And was there a conductor that you admired growing up that you thought?
Well, YouTube is marvelous. You get to see people that are long gone, and you learn from watching them. I had the privilege of studying with Victor Feldbril, who was the retired director of the Toronto Symphony, and he taught me a lot.
It's lovely.
He taught me a lot.
Thank you for being here. Can I shake your hand? Because I know these hands
you
make lots of music, and I just... it's just a joy and a delight to know you. You have an event coming up every fall, but what's happening this October?
October 15th.
Okay.
At 3 o'clock. It's a Sunday afternoon. We're doing a benefit concert for cerebral palsy of Nassau County, something we've done a number of times. We always have special guests. In the past, we worked with Joe Piscopo. We've worked with Linda Eder. Once we had a Liberace impersonator who had all the crazy clothes and the rings. But this concert is going to be special. We have a Long Island celebrity, Tony Danza.
Wonderful.
Yeah, is going to be appearing with the orchestra, and he sings, he tap dances,
really?
Tells stories. Yeah, so we're looking forward to it.
Invite me. I would love to come down that night.
I would love to have you there. All of the ticket money we collect is going right to cerebral palsy of Nassau County.
So important. Remember, I was telling you when we first met that I grew up singing.
Yes.
And our singing group every summer would go to the Camp of Wonder, which is a United Cerebral Palsy camp.
Oh,
but I'm also very involved with ADAPT, which is New York City. So this is lovely what you do.
Well, if anybody's interested in tickets, my website is nassaupops.com.
Okay.
And you can go on there and be on our mailing list, and you get information about the concert we're doing.
I have one other question.
Certainly.
When you listen to music on a CD, are there certain concertos or certain type of music that you listen to, or do you like pop music? Like you yourself, what do your ears like to listen to?
I love all kinds of music, but when I'm in the car, I turn on a country station.
You do? Country, really?
I really
there you
do.
go. So for all of our fans in Nashville, Tennessee, there you go. Louis likes country. I like country too. Thanks for watching. I'm Donna Drake, and be well.